Man, today's episode was absolutely incredible.
Riveting, as somebody said in the crowd.
Shea Hillenbrand, two-time Major League Baseball All-Star, comes by and just drops a freaking nugget on everybody.
I was not expecting that. That could be broadcast through the world. That interview so inspiring, so emotional.
Yes.
I don't know what to say. I just was taken aback from MLB to mental health.
Awesome. And
Yes.
then, we get into it with Denise McCreery from D'vine. What a great episode. Learn that she's a singer in a band. That's so fun. And then we bring it on home with Mike and Tami Butcher. And that, too, was just such a good interview.
Two pillars of the community in different ways, but work together and do amazing stuff. Everybody knows them. Everybody loves them. And I thought they really told their story very well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear it myself.
Well, this is it. Welcome to our Move the Needle podcast, episode number two. Steve, how are you today?
Doing fantastic here in Chandler.
We are at Off 87th. This is a freaking great location.
Unbelievable.
How do we keep getting this lucky? Like, I've never been out here before, but like you get out here, the tables, the way it's set up, the bar, there's this cool little area back there where you could look like you could do all your social media stuff.
Yeah, I'm playing with the band tomorrow night. Come
Is
out
that
and see
real?
me. Oh, yeah, they got bands here playing all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Now, how come they asked you to come and play with the band? I didn't know
I'm
you.
just kidding.
Oh, you
I
were
crash.
kidding.
I crash.
I thought maybe you were just going to introduce the band.
No.
Yeah. Do you
Neither.
have a skill?
I do have a skill.
What is that?
Introducing the band.
Fair enough, man. Well, we've got a great show for everybody today. We're going to visit with Denise McCreery in just a couple of moments. We're going to sit down with Mike and Tami Butcher on our Move the Needle segment. But first, on our local legend segment, we're going to sit down with a dude named Shea Hillenbrand. How do you know him? How did he come to be in your life?
How do you become in my life is that I know he is, I was a fan, been a longtime baseball fan, and I know he is local here in Chandler and friends with the Butchers. And,
Okay.
Tami and Mike Butcher, I know are very close to him, and we're going to talk about that and supporting local businesses, and that you'll find him here even on off nights, not just here for the podcast here. I know
Is that because he's an alcoholic?
I don't think so, but
Okay,
he could
just
tell us
wanting
that.
to make sure.
I think he drinks iced tea.
I have an introduction ready for Shea, and here it goes. Shea Mathew Hillenbrand, born 1975, is a two-time All-Star third baseman and first baseman who played in the major leagues for the Red Sox, the D-backs, the Jays, the Giants. He did both teams in L.A., and if I'm counting, that's 6 moves, depending on how you shake out the L.A. situation. Now, I myself, in my radio career, Steve, I had 9 moves.
Wow.
Minneapolis, Texas, PA, DC, Kansas City, back to DC, Denver, Milwaukee, and then Phoenix. So there's nobody that understands the moving process better than me and Shea. So,
And we're on Move the Needle.
and we're on Move the Needle. This is all working out. So, Shea, first up, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, this is great, man. So in my head, Major League Baseball helps you with all of these moves tremendously. You don't have to lift a finger. That's how it plays out in my head. Is that accurate?
Screw the MLB.
Yeah? They don't take care of it that way?
They don't care about you, man. They'll pay for the fees. Like I moved from Boston to Arizona, so they'll pay for the van, the shipping of your stuff, whatever that. But once you get here, you're on your own.
So it's not like a bunch of dudes with white gloves show up at your house and they pack all your stuff for you.
It's
and
the
then
movies now. But when you're in the clubhouse, when you're with the team, it's a different story, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never touch your bag. You never touch your equipment. You snap your fingers. You get whatever you want. In the clubhouse, we have a lunchroom that's like Circle K. You have any candy you want. It's not like Fit. It's not like Prime Food. It's whatever you want. Chili cheese, hot dogs, hamburgers, cheesesteaks, all that stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's everything what you think. On the plane flights, it's you fly your own plane. So you have anything between steak and chicken and pasta, and they give you alcohol, but not hard alcohol. All the candy, all the ice cream, everything you want. That's all first class.
Man, how about that?
But you have to earn it, man.
You do.
You got to make that.
You got to
MLB.
get there. You got to get there first.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You got to get there first.
The minor leagues suck.
Do they? That's where it gets a little bit tough.
Yeah, I got a question. With all those teams, the managers, how many managers did you go through? I wanted, because it's going to segue into leadership and what you think of leadership and the different leaders you've been involved with. And
That's a good question. I've done about 700 podcasts, and I've never had that question asked me.
And it's a good question?
Yeah, just Google me. I got in a
Thank
fight
you.
with my manager in Toronto.
Okay. Well, that's one. So you got a fight. Okay, let's hear what a good one. Who told? That's what I see being a fan. I want to hear that. The
It's
leadership,
tough. I mean,
the
when
leadership
you're-
styles.
when
Who's
you're-
the
when
best
you're-
leader?
Best leader?
Being a manager leader.
The zero managers I played for.
Zero?
Were good leaders.
Wow.
There's only
Shocked.
one coach that I played for in professional baseball that I was like, that guy has it.
Okay.
And unfortunately, he was a pitching coach. I played first base, third base, and DH. And you don't really care for pitching coaches, right? Because, like, they're on the other side. They got to take care of pitchers. We have a hitting coach, a bench coach, third base, first base, manager, pitching coach. But just one of them. That's when I was in Anaheim. So I was picked up as a free agent by the Angels and didn't really understand what transpired for me to get picked up as a free agent. But the pitching coach for the Angels in the boardroom went to bat for me. With the GM, with the manager. Tony Reagans was the GM. The manager's Mike Scioscia. I had kind of a controversial personality playing Major League Baseball because I was a go-getter. I was a hot pistol, right? I was I just wanted to win.
Yeah.
And it was really difficult for people to understand that. And it was the pitching coach in the boardroom that went to bat for me.
Yeah.
And he got me a lot of money.
Wow.
How about that? A
Like
pitching
millions-
coach going to bat
millions
for
and
you.
millions of
Pitching
dollars.
coach.
So that pitching coach is Mike Butcher.
Wow.
Is it really?
100% Mike Butcher. He is
see
the
him in the
best,
crowd.
and he's my boss now. I'm not saying that because he's my boss now, but he was the best coach that I've ever had all the way through.
Wow.
And I was talking to one of my friends today, and this is what parlays into leadership. One of the main reasons why he was my favorite coach is because he cared.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if you were a position player, it didn't matter if you're a pitcher, didn't matter if there was a clubhouse guy, didn't matter. There's so many different moving parts. He cared. But the challenge that you have when you care, and if you're around people that don't care, you become a threat.
Yes.
Because now it's like, well, that guy cares. Why is people gravitating towards him and not me? So you have to understand how to navigate those spaces. I'm talking about the elite of the elite in the world
Sure.
at the top with Major League Baseball. So it was really interesting to say that because I really didn't have too many relationships with coaches or front office staff in Major League Baseball. When you walk into the clubhouse, the lineup card's right there. And you look, am I playing today? Am I not? And if you're playing, you do everything to prepare yourself. And we know the game as players at that level just as much as the manager. Half the time you're questioning what they're doing because it's such an elite level. But be able to establish that relationship and to rekindle this relationship, that was 2007. So to rekindle this relationship with Mike at this point in time in my life is, I really cherish it.
Super cool.
And it brings a smile to my face.
Yeah, you know what's so funny is radio. I feel like entertainment and sports are the exact same careers because I was in the entertainment industry for 28 years, and I too, man, I might have had one or two great program directors the entire stretch. The rest of them were just like, "What are you doing here?" I couldn't make sense of it.
Yeah, 100%. It doesn't mean that they're bad people.
Sure.
I mean, at that level, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of very few spots to fight for, and people act certain ways and do certain things. And I really didn't gravitate towards any of that stuff because I just worked my tail off, kind of like the Kobe Bryant mindset, the Mamba mentality, or the cleaner mindset Tim Grover, his trainer, says. So I really didn't need much of that stuff, but it's really interesting to see what transpires in those environments, a high-pressure environment.
Sure. Where were you when you got the call?
Which call?
The call, like, you're going to be picked up by a Major League Baseball team, and, like, your dream of playing baseball is going to be something that's a reality for you.
I was actually in spring training. I went to spring training one season. Major League, there's a minor league spring training, Major League spring training, and I went into spring training as a catcher. And when you go into spring training as a catcher for the minor leagues, you're up there for one reason, just to catch all the bullpens. Because they bring so many pitchers inside spring training that they need a lot of
People to
held
catch the ball.
catch.
Yeah.
And they don't want to wear out their major league staff because they got to get them ready for the season. 162 games. But I was the guy that, hey, I'll catch all the bullpens. I'll go out there. But what I did was I acted like a big leaguer. A lot of people don't understand that whatever situation we get into, whatever we're around, we get overwhelmed. We get maybe just disconcerted with the situation. But if you act like you belong and do the things that you need to do, your mind is a powerful tool. So I just put my head down and I just worked and worked and worked. And halfway through that spring training, I was catching bullpens. I was working in the batting cage, and I was always observing.
Yes.
You have to observe everybody around you. I was observing to see the guys that were doing good, and I was observing to see the guys that weren't doing good. A lot of people understand that, let's just look at the guys that are doing, no, we got to look at the guys that are doing bad, why they're not doing good.
That's it.
You have to learn from everybody around you. And halfway through spring training, I was walking into the clubhouse, and Jason Varitek, who was the captain for the Red Sox, Mr. All-World for the Red Sox, he says, you keep messing around, you're going to make this team. And I said, dude, don't be punking me, dude. This is my dream. I'll knock you out, fool. Don't be talking that. He's like, seriously, I was just trying to vie for the spot in AAA. I just came from AA. Well, AAA is right below the major leagues. So I came all the way down the last day of spring training, and the bench coach came up to me. The bench coach is a liaison between the manager and the players. He says, hey, Skipper needs to see you. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm proud of myself. I made it all the way through spring training. I'm going to go down to AAA. I'm going to starting catcher for the AAA Pawtucket. It's not Pawtucket. It's Pawtucket Red Sox.
Got it.
Right? So I'm going to be starting catcher for the Pawtucket Red Sox. Get ready maybe for the next season, go to the major leagues. I'm knocking on the door. And I go into the manager's office, Jimmy Williams, and he reached his hand out to me and he said, congratulations, you made this team.
Holy smokes.
I was looking for Ashton Kutcher. I was like,
yeah, am I punked right now?
How is this possible, man? I just came from AA. I put my head down. I focused on the details. I always put the work in. Everybody works hard, but I always put the work in to understand how I did it, not how everybody else did it. I observed, and I just took advantage. See, so many people don't realize that you can't control the outcome of this podcast. You can't control the outcome of a restaurant, but you can influence it by how you prepare and present yourself in that situation. So every opportunity I had, I leveraged it because I was prepared and I was ready to go to leverage that with that hunger and that drive. So once you break spring training, you go to 2 exhibition games. We went to Houston for an exhibition game to play the Astros, and we go to the Cincinnati Reds to play an exhibition game in Cincinnati. Then we're going to open up in Baltimore, our season opener, for the Red Sox. So we pull up to the hotel in Houston. I'm in the major leagues. I've stayed in nothing but Motel 6s. I always left the light on for the next person, because that's what they said in the commercial, right?
Yeah.
Leave the light on. We'll leave the. So I pull up. We pull up to the hotel. It's the Ritz-Carlton.
And you're like,
and I'm like, what the heck? So I go to my hotel room, and I go to put my key in the hotel room, and there's a doorbell. And I'm like, why is there a doorbell on my room? So when I played, we didn't have roommates. When you interview Mike, when he played, because he's so old, he had roommates. So when I played, we didn't have roommates. So I opened up the door. My room was so vast and so big in the Ritz-Carlton that if I was in the bathroom with my robe and my slippers and you knocked on the door, I couldn't hear you, so you had to push the doorbell. So I jump on the bed like Macaulay Culkin. I'm in the big leagues. This is crazy. This is awesome. So I go to the ballpark 4 hours early the next day, before we're supposed to be there, not before the game. I just wanted to put on a major league uniform.
yes.
Amazing.
I just sat there for so many years as a little boy in Little League and middle school. I just want to be there. I want to be there on TV.
Yes.
And I sat there and I said, I want to go to the ballpark and see my number, and I want to wear a big league uniform because they're like pajamas. When in spring training, people don't understand this. They have a custom tailor come in the clubhouse and take custom measurements, because they're all one-off uniforms. You have a uniform custom made. So I walk into the clubhouse 4 hours before we're supposed to be there. The only people there are pitchers, rehabbers, and the trainers. And I walk in, they're like, what are you doing here, Rook? I'm like, I'm in the big leagues. I want to see my number 29, Shea Hillenbrand. I put on my uniform and I put on my spikes. I got my glove on like I'm getting ready for Little League opening day at my locker in the major leagues in Houston with the Astros. I have my uniform on. And the same damn bench coach came over and tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, the skipper needs to see you.
No,
I said, gosh, dog it, man. I didn't even get one day in the big leagues. They're going to send me down. Like really all those negative thoughts going through my mind, because I'm like, I got here and they're just taking it away from me. And I make the walk of death in my spikes to the manager's office. And I walk into his office with my stomach in my throat. And hey, Skipper, he said you needed to see me. He looked me up and down like, what the hell you got your uniform on for, son?
Yeah.
He said, sit down. I sat there, and the manager sat across from me, and he had his arms crossed like this, and he's like, I've been doing a lot of thinking. On opening day, you're going to be my starting third baseman.
Look out.
I jumped up and shook his hand real quick so he couldn't change his mind, bro. Like I thought I was tricking him, man. I was like, I'm going. I walked back to my locker. I'm like, how am I going to play third base? I came here as a catcher. How am I going to play third base? I'm going to call timeout on ESPN and tell Pedro Martinez, hey, are you serious? But I had to be ready. So many of us are so scared of what's in front of us that we don't take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
With that one leap of faith, with that first ground ball in the big leagues, I didn't know that the next season I'd be an all-star. That the season after that I'd be making millions and millions of dollars. And the season after that I'd be flying private jets out of Chandler Airport with mansions, all that stuff on top of the world. But here was a kid that walked on to a junior college baseball team. Yeah. And my number one greatest accomplishment in Major League Baseball was when I was playing for the Diamondbacks at the very end of the season. The vice president of the Diamondbacks came up to me and says, hey, we have this program. We have this program where baseball players get into a community in conjunction with APS and the Diamondbacks. And we donate baseball fields to the kids in the community. Would you like to do one of those? I said, yes. Where do you want me to sign the check?
Right.
So I gave him a check, and that baseball field happens to be right north of Chandler, downtown Chandler. It's the Boys and Girls Club, the Shea Hillenbrand baseball field.
What a cool thing, man.
Nobody can ever take that away from me. I have people sending me pictures till today. We just had baseball practice. We just had a game on your baseball field. I had the goosebumps. I don't give a darn what I did in the major leagues. That's just a fantasy. That's a dream. But being able to give back, being able to make an impact and inspire and give hope to other people to say, you know what? You can do it. Regardless of what your mind, what everybody else tells you, you can do it. And that's why I'm so grateful to be partnering with Mike now with what we're doing, because we try to give that hope and inspiration to the people around us in that space.
How cool is this? Guy could write a leadership book right now. I mean, that is the protocol to making it in almost anything.
Actually, I've been working on that speech. Mike told me to say that. None of that's true.
Well, I love that. Now, when we talk about leadership, again, a couple things I want to bring up. One, shocked that he did not have any managers that were those mentors, those leaders. But happy to hear about Mike Butcher, that experience you had with him. I just think that's, I'm just a little bit shocked about that. I thought you'd have a list of people, but that's that.
It's not as glamorous as people think, man.
Well, that's me too.
Yeah.
Right? If you ask Mike, he's going to give you a totally different story.
That's right.
Because that's his journey and that's his perspective. We all have different journeys and different perspectives. If we look at everybody in this restaurant today, everybody has their own perspective of how they view the world, and they could be in the same situation as someone else. But how you go through things in your life and the story and the narrative you tell yourself. That's why I have the voice on my forum. I want to be the voice for the voiceless. That's why my hat. I want to be able to provide that through our nonprofit, the voice for the next generation. Say, you know what? What's your voice, your gifts, your talents, your ability, your purpose, your mission, whatever God gave you to do, to go out there to make somebody else's life better. I had the mansions. I had the cars.
Right.
I had the millions, and that doesn't mean nothing.
I know.
But being able to use your gifts and your talents and your ability to inspire and to talk life into other people, that's what it's ultimately about. And until you've been there, it's really difficult to relate, because it's like, if I just get there,
they think it all the time.
Cool. Or if I just get that car or this nice thing or that, it's cool, but that's temporal.
I'm telling you, Shea, at the height of my career, I had all the things you just talked about, and I was the most miserable I'd ever been in my entire life. And it's just nuts how that seems to work that way. I want to ask about your foundation. Let's get into it a little bit. What are you doing with that?
Yeah, what brought me to my foundation is my second all-star appearance in the major leagues. I board my private jet right up the street in Chandler Airport. The runway is 4,995 feet. You need 5,000 feet for a runway for a private jet. I had special clearance because I was big, bad pimpin' Shea. I wanted to make sure everybody knew who I was, because myself and Tex Earnhardt were the only ones that would fly private out of that airport.
Yeah.
That's how big my ego was. That's how bad of a space I was in. So I take off in a Citation 10 private jet to my second All-Star game in Detroit, Michigan. We take off like a bullet. The Citation 10 private jet is the fastest civilian jet in the world. I'm going 64,000 feet, 640 miles an hour towards my childhood dream. You know, like when we were kids in the backyard, like bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, World Series. I did that. I was living out that dream actively real time in my major league career. I'm on this private jet by myself. I didn't have my entourage. I didn't have my family. I used to fly my dogs on there too because I'm an huge animal lover. I was just all by myself, going towards my childhood dream. You'd think it would be all glamour, glitz, glory, everything. I look out the window. I'm so high I can't see the ground. That's how high I was flying on top of the world. Here I am on the mountaintop. The first thought that went through my mind was, is this all life has to offer?
Yeah.
Is this it? I thought it was supposed to be great. I thought everybody told me that I'm living the American dream. I'm doing it all, but I'm miserable.
Yeah.
I can't tell no one because that's a sign of weakness. The second thought that went through my mind was, who are you? And I couldn't answer that question.
Isn't that
It
so?
was the scariest moment of my life when I couldn't answer that question, when I had little girls in the stands holding up signs, will you marry me, Shea? I'd do autograph signings for $10,000 an hour, and kids would come to the table crying and shaking just to meet me, but they couldn't see that pain resonate inside me because that story I was telling myself rooted from my childhood of how I experienced things in my childhood. So in the prime of my career, I walked away. I left $50 million on the table. I said, I'm done. I'm out. I hate everything about this. I'm living my dream, and I just want to escape every way I can. So I had this great idea because I had millions of dollars in the bank to buy a zoo. So I bought a zoo in Gilbert on Bell Vista and Hunt Highway.
You do love animals.
I bought a zoo.
You must.
I had
Yeah.
300 farm and exotic animals. Camels, kangaroos, llamas, alpacas, monkeys, raccoons. I had 2 Wilshire pigs. Those are the ones you eat.
Yeah.
800 pounds. Taco Bell in Gilbert. I had a Holstein cow. It's the one you milk, but it was a boy. You couldn't milk him. His name was Biggie Smalls.
That was
I had
great.
a miniature donkey. Guess what his name was?
Oh God,
Come on,
something
bro.
big, something Biggie Smalls.
Tupac.
Of course.
They'd have
Tupac.
coast-to-coast wars at night, man. I was like, dude, I have to separate them. I was like, dude, come on, guys. We're here for the kids. So I started a nonprofit foundation called Against All Odds.
Yeah.
Because I made it to the top against all odds. I achieved this mountaintop when everybody told me that I couldn't do it. And I was in a point in my life, I said, I have to give back because I need to be able to help somebody else go through this and experience it. So I had all these farm and exotic animals at my zoo down the street. I had inner city disabled and child crisis kids. I do podcasts like this with a kangaroo on my hip and a pouch. I did it at Fox Sports Grill in Scottsdale. And these guys, the drunk guys, were in there like, man, there's a marsupial up in this.
Yeah, right.
I said, you might want to take a picture, man, because you're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, did I see a
Was that
kangaroo
real?
last night?
Yeah.
So that was me. I was like Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. So here I am. My animals were impacting thousands of children's lives in our community. It was priceless.
Yeah.
It was priceless. I'm bound to find fulfillment now because Major League Baseball didn't do it.
Sure.
The glory, the fame, the status, all that stuff on top. I mean, I've done things on a Major League Baseball field that people could only... And I'm not gloating. I don't really care about that, but I've done some things that are pretty cool in front of thousands and millions of people. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I was there, just like you see now on TV, but I couldn't find fulfillment. So 10 years ago, there was a quiet, dark neighborhood down the street, and there's a van parked outside of a house. And it was underneath a buzzing street lamp. And it was a quiet, dark neighborhood. And if you zoom inside this van, you'll see someone sitting on the floor, grasping onto a bottle of vodka, staring at a bottle of pills in his lap. And he sits there, he's like, how did this guy get here? How did this Major League Baseball player get to this spot? He had everything. And he got to the point where he said, screw it. He dumped those bottle of pills in his mouth and he washed it down with the rest of that vodka. And he's laying his head on the floor of the van, laying down. The soul's leaving the top of his head and he's clinging on to his last breath. I hate my life. I hate everything about this. And he let go. 10 years ago, that was me. I didn't overdose, but I was trying to run from that numb and run from that pain and flee from that pain of the story that I told myself on top of the world. I'm not lovable, I'm not good enough, my dad doesn't love me. Those stories that we tell ourselves are everything. And I'm doing everything to my last breath to help people understand that the narrative that they're telling themselves is false. That narrative that you're saying to yourself that I'm no good, I can't do it, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I have acne, whatever that might be, I don't fit in, I can't do this or that, it's false. And you could change that in a moment of time just by shifting that narrative in your head. But you have to understand how to do that.
Sure.
So I let go. See, the game had become my name on top of the world, my identity. But by the grace of God, I woke up the next day. The sun peered through the front windshield of my van, and it woke me up. I came to. And I realized when I came to on the floor of that van 10 years ago, after I had everything in the world, I had nothing but one breath. I came to, and I realized I didn't have any side effects. I didn't have anything. No nausea, no stomach ache, no headache. And the concoction of alcohol and pills I consumed the night before, I should have had two options. I should either have been dead or in the hospital, because when you're on top of the world, when you're a celebrity, an athlete who's operating at an elite level, you have this obsessive compulsive personality to keep driving. And if it's not going towards negative things, your life will just spiral out of control. And it was an aha moment for me.
Yeah, man. Of course
I had to look myself in the mirror, and I said, at that point in time, 10 years ago, I had to say, you know what? I have to do something about this. I've done everything I can to run them and flee and run from my pains and all that trouble and everything of those internal battles and the struggles in my life. I have to do something about this, so I just took one step. One painful step forward towards where I am right now today. Mm-hmm. And I almost come to tears because that guy right there.
Yeah. Because without a buddy,
because he
man,
doesn't
it's
know
so
what
hard.
he did for me, bro. When I was on the bottom of the world playing for the Angels, there was something about him that said, dude, just keep going.
Yeah.
Because that's what he stands for. That's what he stood for. He didn't have to say a word. So we need to understand the language and how we portray ourselves in front of other people. I'm really conscious about it now, of how I carry myself, how I show up early, how I go above and beyond, because other people see that, saying, if he does that, maybe I can too. So with each and every painful step that I went towards where I needed to go to get above where I was, what I realized, once you get momentum in your life going towards a target, a goal, a better life, a better version, God will bring people into your life.
That's it, man.
That will help guide you and provide support and accountability. And that was my wife today. She's in my life for a reason. She did that for me. And once you keep going, your eyes start seeing differently. The mud starts clearing and your perspective starts freeing up. And you start to see, and you can find your smile, you can find peace, you can find fulfillment. I have it now, as you can see, what I was searching for on top of the world. And it's not about that. It's about what can I do today with the gifts that I have, because tomorrow ain't guaranteed. I could drive home right here on the highway because I live in North Scottsdale. Now I can get in an accident, I could be done. I'm cool. It would suck for my family and other people, but I'm cool because I found it.
You got to figure it out.
And since I found it, I said I have to give it. So that's the premise of my nonprofit foundation. It's helping people provide the voice to the voiceless. How can we help other people understand and see that there is ability, there is something that's been put inside you that the world needs?
Yes.
See, I thought everything on top of the world was for me, to glorify me. Look at me, I'm Shea Hillenbrand. That's what got me in trouble. That's what gets so many people in trouble in that spot, because ego fills that gap. The last time I checked, ego stands for edging God out. When you're empty inside, you feel that emptiness with everything the world has to offer. You don't find sustainability, you never find fulfillment. And that was me, because I had everything. So by the grace of God, it took me to be one breath away to get to where I am now. That was me. That's my story, because I'm stubborn. I told you I don't like managers. I guarantee you there was managers and coaches out there that would have helped me. I can't tell you how many times this dude tells me on a daily basis, if you just would have said something to me, Shea, I could have helped you out.
Yeah.
I didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
Here I am on top of the world. I don't even have a voice. The greatest gift I ever missed on top of the world was using the mountaintop to preach to other people, because I had a dream. I had a dream to help other people see that there is possibility beyond the limitations that we have, that we're shackled inside ourselves, right? So what was the question you asked?
Man, I'm telling you right now, I do have one last question, because I want to get to Denise, right?
I mean,
and
could be here for
yeah. But do you have something that you want to ask? Because then I have a closing question that I think is going to bring this all around.
It's just so minimal compared to what you just said.
Yeah, your story.
Your story is so inspirational. I was not prepared for that.
I told you I had an Emmy Award-winning story, bro.
I appreciate it. That is Emmy Award-winning. I want to know did you play any other sports as a kid? Has MLB always been your dream?
Great question, man. You should be.
Two good
your
questions.
Your gift is interviewing. It's not introducing. It's interviewing, man. You interview questions. I was the #1 soccer player in high school in Arizona.
How were you really?
See,
I went to Mountain View High School in Mesa.
I knew there had to be something
and I was the
behind that.
#1
I knew
soccer
that.
player. I had chances to play in Europe. I had chances to play at university. I had chances to play everywhere after high school. I had 0 chances to play baseball after high school. But my dream as a kid, 9-year-old kid at the top deck at Dodger Stadium with my mom on my left, my best friend Robert on my right, I told him every single day we had season tickets to the Dodgers. I'm playing down there someday. There's no other option. I am playing there someday.
Love that.
So in 2006, I got a chance to play in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, you did.
And I stood at third base, and I looked up to where I was a kid. I said, we did it.
Yeah.
Against all odds. We showed up every single day. We fought our fight. And that's what I want to leave your listeners with. You have to show up every single day and fight your fight, not somebody else's fight. It's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
It's not easy. Fight your fight. And I sat there to my 9-year-old Shea, and I said, we did it. Through all the naysayers. All the media said, you're too old to be a rookie. You can't hit a ground. You can't swing at strikes. You can't field a ground ball. You can't do it. And I told every last one of them to stick it where the sun don't shine.
Right.
But I didn't use my words. I used my work ethic, my determination, all the intangibles that we teach the kids today through my foundation. Regardless of where you at, your back can be against the wall. Doesn't matter your situation. It's how you perceive that situation. And to be a mentor, that's what we're doing now with our foundation. That's what we're doing now. We're using baseball as a platform. We used animals before, but we use baseball as a platform. We have a baseball academy in Mexico, we have a baseball academy here. We help kids in Canada. We have story after story. I'm going to a game tonight, a college game tonight, college summer league. We're mentoring those kids. They think
That's
we're
great.
trying to play baseball. We're teaching them how to be responsible, accountable young adults.
That's
for
the
next
thing, man.
Generation.
Yeah, I love that so much. So my last question for you, Shea, as we wrap up is, who are you? Like you used to not be able to answer that question.
Very good question. I'm a man with many flaws.
Yeah.
Who could look himself in the mirror right now and say, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for standing up and not giving up against all odds.
Yeah.
I'm a man that's so loyal. I'm a man that's a man of his word. I wasn't a man of my word before because I didn't have to be.
Right.
When you're a celebrity, you could do whatever you want. I could treat everybody in here right now like the biggest a-hole. I could walk into that restroom over there and I could snort 3 lines of coke and walk out with 3 women in Boston, and I'm married, and they say that dude is cool. I can go out there and do whatever I wanted. It's a crummy place to live. It's a very slippery slope. But today, waking up every single day, trying to be the best version of who I am, and seeking and having a different perspective and saying it is possible. It is possible to go out there and do something and make a bigger difference in other people's lives.
Yeah.
I'm a man that stands up and says how it is, a voice to the voiceless. And I can own and I'm accountable for every last action I took in and out of a clubhouse. Just Google me. That fight in the clubhouse with John Gibbons, I'm accountable now. I always was a victim before. I take accountability for every action I took, and when you do that, you take the power back to yourself.
That's it. That's it. Man, off 87. Let's give it up
Yeah.
for Shea, man. That was, thank you so much, dude. That was an incredible
Oh, the
story.
microphone was on for them, they could hear it?
Yes, the whole thing. Yeah, I know. Mike heard every word. We're going to ask him about that in just a couple of minutes. Shea Hillenbrand, thank you so much for being on the pod, man. That's incredible. Steve, I'm like you, man. I didn't see any of that coming, and I can't be more grateful that it did.
I'm like, I'm actually almost speechless.
Almost speechless.
Yeah.
And
now
now
I'm speechless. I know they're saying me speechless. I really, that was heavy and in a good way, in a great way. So I'd love to hear that
every
story.
moment of it. All right.
And who do we have here?
Well, now it's time for our rising star here to shine on our podcast. Yeah, let me give a proper introduction for Denise McCreery. D'vine Gourmet was started by you in Tucson back in 2003. You guys make these made-to-order gourmet gifts and gift baskets, right?
Yes.
20 years ago, let me give you a little history lesson on yourself. PHX Magazine named you Valley Woman to Watch, a Valley Woman to Watch. 10 years ago, you picked up the best edible gift according to the Phoenix New Times. Just 2 years ago, you were given the downtown Chandler Bobby Kramer Spirit Award. Ladies and gentlemen, she turns wine into jelly. Please welcome Denise McCreery.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
Boy, you got to follow Shea Hillenbrand, and I'm so sorry about that.
That's
That
a
was
tough
incredible.
one.
That was incredible,
a tough
huh?
one. Yeah, and I don't have any great baseball stories to tell, but I will say that I was an all-star third base soccer. No, all-star third base softball player
Yes.
in high school for 3 years, and we took the championship in Pima County, 1982. Yeah.
Okay, a little.
Now, did you take your private jet, 64,000 feet in the air?
No, I took
No.
my 1973 three-speed Vega. Yeah, that's all I took. Yeah.
Man, let's rewind the tape, Denise. So you start this project back in 2003. What's the inspiration for this? Why does this even come off the ground for you?
You know, I had no inspiration. It literally was an act of God. I was working at a high school. I taught at-risk youth. I loved it. I had a gun pulled in my face one day, and I had to go to court to testify for this kid to try to keep him out of jail. And I loved what I was doing, but it was very hard. It was very taxing, and I had 2 kids that were 2 and 3 at the time. So I was just trying to think about who I was and where I was going. I wanted to continue to help these kids, but I also wanted to create a safe environment for my family. At the time, my hubs was a wine distributor, and he just kept bringing home wine bottle after wine bottle, and a girl can only drink so many half bottles of wine on her own.
Are you
I
sure
asked
about
my
that?
friends. I know, right? It's funny coming from me, right?
Yeah.
So all my girlfriends would help me, but I was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for my toddlers at the time, looking at the wine bottles on the counter, and I thought, you know, jelly's made from juice and wine is juice. Welch's is for kids, yada, yada, yada. We took wine jelly to a street fair, sold 3,000 jars of wine jelly in one weekend. So I quit my job, built a kitchen, and 21 years later, here we are.
I have to rewind the tape. You have a gun pulled on you?
I did.
What is
I
this
did.
story? That had to have been terrifying. As a mom of 2 at home, you did all the things flash?
You know what? None of them flashed, actually. I had been working with these kids for a long time. I love high school kids at risk. I feel like they are a forgotten group of people, and I feel like they are at that turning point where they can either go this way or that way. So this kid, his name was Michael, and I loved Michael. He was a very large African-American kid, and he and I had gone around a few times in the classroom, but it didn't bother me. That was just part of the job.
Yeah.
I had had my car stolen from the parking lot. I had had my purse taken out of the lockers. It was a tough gig.
Yeah.
So I think he was just involved in gangs, and he was showing off. I don't think he meant anything by it at all. He pulled it out. We had a little kerfuffle. The police came, and they wanted to put him in jail. And that bothered me a lot. I felt like he was on the cusp. So they asked me to come and testify for him. And I think that the courtroom was actually expecting me to testify against him, to put him in jail. But he was a good kid. So I said, please don't do this. Let us please.
Let's work with him.
Work with him, absolutely. So they worked with him, and I went and I testified for him, and I never knew what happened. I never got a follow-up until about 6 months later. I was pulling through an EG's to get some slushies for my children.
Stop it.
And there he was, and he was the
Working.
assistant manager, and he has been saved, and he's delightful. And it was one of the best stories of
What a
my
cool
life.
story.
Yeah,
That is a
yeah.
story.
And I've got to look him up. You know, he's got to be, 32, 34. He could be a father. Who knows? I should look him up.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about those early days
Yes.
starting the business, I want to know some of the challenges you had. It's obviously.
What are you talking about? It was easy for her.
Yeah, I mean, all those accolades she's won. I mean, talk about the early
It's
days.
easy because I drink wine, or I eat wine jelly every day, right?
Is that what you did? You just got just barreled through the days?
Absolutely.
with
Welch's
the
is for
wine
kids. Starting a business, that was never my dream. It was actually not something I ever thought I was going to do. And it was super challenging because I had these little kids at home. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about getting financing for businesses. We started everything by our savings account and a credit card. We'd go to street fairs. I'd pull the kids in a wagon. It was really, really tough. And our customer base kept asking us to grow and to do other things. So we kind of followed what our customers wanted to do. But my goal was, I wanted to be a mom first. I wanted to be a part of the community first. And D'vine Gourmet was just a catalyst to get out there, and it was a way to make some money and have some fun and not be home alone or not be in front of people. I actually love people. I know that's not very trendy in today's day and age, but
Should be.
Let's bring it
should be,
back.
right?
Let's bring it back.
Bring her
Let's
back.
bring it back.
But I just like being around people, and I liked being at the fairs. I liked being in the store. So it was a very natural transgression for me that I didn't realize I needed at the time.
So she answered, not many challenges. Seems like it was just like it flowed like the jelly.
Oh, no. The jelly might have bypassed. There's been a ton of challenges, starting with 2008, 2009, 2004, COVID.
Yeah.
COVID. COVID was the scariest thing we ever encountered. We had been in business for 17 years. When COVID happened, I had 12 employees self-isolate. They asked if they could leave the company. We had no employees, and I thought we were going to get shut down. I thought 17 years of what I was doing was going to go away. We had survived the crash of '04, '08. We had survived moving our company from Tucson to Phoenix, Chandler. We had survived a lot. We had survived some personal things, some deaths in the family, and some challenges. And I thought we got through all of it until COVID happened. And I thought I was going to lose everything in COVID. But the community actually came out and saved us. I kid you not. Also my husband, he took an early retirement and he came and joined the family business, and that was a
That's
huge
great.
savings. Yeah, absolutely. And the ladies that worked at D'vine, they did what they could while taking care of their own family and their own children. So it was the summer of 2020 was very challenging, but the community came out and saved us. Literally, they realized that we were in trouble. They bought from us. They bought gift baskets from us. They bought online. They converted their Christmas parties into Christmas gifts. They really came out and made sure that the small business survived COVID in a way that makes me Twitter-pated just to think about.
That's so cool,
Yeah.
isn't it? I think people
Yeah.
can recognize that when they're going through it. Now, I remember I was a morning radio personality when COVID hit, and people don't think about this, but overnight, people stopped driving to work.
Absolutely.
And so our radio audience went from like accumulating 1 million people a week to a few 100,000, like on the best day. And it's just so funny how it impacted every business in almost the same way, but different. So as you got through those challenges, what did you learn from those experiences? What did your people teach you about like what your business is all about?
Wow. That's a loaded question.
It's a great question.
My brain exploded several times in 2020
Right.
because of all the things that I had to learn. And you'd think at some point in our life we're done learning, but nay,
No way.
nay, absolutely. There's a few things I learned. I learned perspective. It felt like the end of the world, and it wasn't the end of the world. I had my health. I never got COVID, and my family never got COVID. It was sad. People were suffering in ways other than I was suffering. And I think that was the biggest thing for me to learn, that it was just money. It was just business. We would get through this and I could earn money again. I've lost money before. I've slept in my car before. I've earned money again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So my biggest thing that I learned was perspective and how to handle perspective balanced against other things that are coming up in life. That was the number one thing. The number two thing was probably about the love of community. I'm serious. People were so generous and so loving, and they would send notes and they would help us out. And I just really felt like when times get tough, turn to your circle. When times get tough, turn to the neighborhood. When things are bad, turn to your community, because your community is always there. Even if everybody can't be there every day at every time for everything, if you've got this community, if you're involved and connected, there's a kindred spiritship where when things happen, somebody's going to be available for you, just as you're going to be available for somebody else. So probably perspective and community were the things that kept not only my business alive, but my heart and my soul alive, and made me realize that I can not only get through this, but I can excel through this. I can grow. I can conquer. It's not the end of the world.
Sounds to me like Shea would have appreciated her as a manager.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, like
Heck
that
yeah.
would have happened. He would have appreciated that.
I mean, she's obviously attentive
Right.
to the situation. So.
Well, it's either that or I'm sleeping, so.
That's how it works. So why did they give you the Spirit Award a couple of years ago? What was that leading up to, or what was that about?
That was a really wonderful award. I don't know if you're familiar with the Bobby Kramer Award, but
I'm not.
Bobby Kramer was a kind of local celebrity in downtown Chandler. He
Okay.
was part of the Hidden House, Brickyard, Elliot's family, and everybody in downtown Chandler loved Bobby. He was as selfless and giving as a man could be, and he died tragically in a car accident on I-10 as a young man with a 4-month-old baby at home. And he really represented what all of us in downtown Chandler felt was the spirit of downtown Chandler. We're a family in downtown. There's no chains. We're all independently owned, so we are a very tight-knit family down there. So the Bobby Kramer Award is an award for people who understand and get and promote the spirit of community and family in downtown Chandler. And honestly, I've won a lot of awards in my life, and that's got to be one of my top favorites, because I knew Bobby. I loved Bobby. I was very sad when he passed. So his spirit will always live on through downtown and our award ceremony and the people who want to continue his vibe and his spirit as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
it's a
some
special
questions.
story.
Fire away,
Well,
man.
I want to hear about, I mean, you're talking about community. I know you give back in many ways. Talk about the ICANN charity that you're involved with.
Oh my goodness, I love ICANN.
What does that mean to you? And tell the people about that a little bit.
Absolutely. So ICANN is a Chandler born and bred institution. Back in 1997, a man named Henry Salinas saw too many kids on the streets after school in the hot summer and the hot fall, whatever. And he thought, why are all these kids here? So he went around and he met them at parks with water and toys and homework assistance. And he basically gathered the kids that were on the street, not in an after-school program. Now, I was a latchkey kid in the 80s, and I had a home to go to, and there was microwave hot dogs, whatever we needed, right? But there are a lot of kids in this beautiful, affluent city of Chandler that don't have that privilege. So ICANN provides free, 100% free after-school care for kids in Chandler. They are bused into our facility after school. We get vans, we pick them up, and we care for about 500 families here in Chandler, not just the kids, but their families. We feed them at Thanksgiving. We provide all the resources we can. And we just expanded into Mesa, who has a very high
that's a great city to be in.
city.
For sure
Absolutely,
it does.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we take care of about 7 underprivileged schools between Chandler and Mesa, and we're now taking care of about 800 kids who need us after school. We give them homework help. We feed them. We might be the only meal they get that day.
Sure.
We love them. We make sure they're good. We give them mental health. We give them hugs, art, science, music. We just take care of them in that very vulnerable period between after school and their home with their parents.
You need to bring in Shea to talk to those kids.
Absolutely. That would be a great idea. Yeah,
for sure.
That's a
He
great
could get
idea.
Them fired up.
Not
Absolutely.
very shocking that Denise is involved in that. Sounds
No.
like it's right up your alley.
You know, it is. I love, I feel very blessed on this planet. You know, I'm not a rich woman. I'm not a celebrity. I don't have a lot of things, but I've always had my health and a bed to sleep in and food and people who love me, right? So I just kind of feel like, particularly with working with youth, I just feel like that's my way of saying thank you to the universe by taking care of those who I can take care of, who I can share the love with. I mean, we all have so much just sitting here today, right? And if you can't share that with others, what's the point? Why are we here?
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, good for you. We have so many common threads. We're going to have big conversations after this is done.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I work in the Durango Detention Center, and I serve the juvenile community there. And I have a foundation called Title I Tech, where we get tech to kids in Title I schools, and we get them hotspots so they can be connected to their teachers. And, yeah, there might be a ton of synergy.
I would love to synergize with your Title I. Absolutely.
I know, yeah.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Steve, anything from you?
I think we could talk for an hour more, but
Heck yeah.
I know we've got other guests to talk
Well,
to.
we do.
but-
And last question for you. Maybe not last question, but as we wind down, the D'vine Gourmet. What are some of these things that you really love to put together? Is there a signature item for you?
Well, our signature item is we're all about the made in Arizona. And literally, Matthew, that's the reason I started the business. Other than turning wine into jelly, again, Welch's is for kids. But when I was starting this business, I realized that Arizona has got a lot of food talent. And at the time, all we were seeing was scorpions and lollipops, literally. So we have a commercial kitchen where we make caramels and candies and nut mixes and snap mixes and things like that.
We'll be right over.
But I know, right? I think I brought samples. But our mission at D'vine Gourmet is that we are taking care of Arizona vendors. So in our business, we have about 150 Arizona vendors, and we feel like if you come and you support our business, you're supporting dozens of Arizona families. And that's kind of, you know, you would ask Shea who he is, and I don't have an answer for who he is either.
Yes.
But for me, it's all about the big picture. You know, we're not meant to be islands. We're not meant to be alone. There are 8 billion of us on this planet, and life is better when we're together. So if we can support other Arizona vendors who might be struggling, if we can get them in to show off their stuff, if they can show off our stuff, it's just a really cool community of local. You know, my hashtag is ShopLocalAZ, and I will get that tattooed on me at some point.
Might as well. Everybody's getting tats. Let's
I
do
know,
it.
right?
Denise McCreery, thank you so much for being on our
thank you,
podcast
Denise.
today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
I appreciate
great
what you're doing here. And Move the Needle. What a great name. We should all be
Give it to
moving the
Steve,
needle
man. It's
every
him.
day.
It's a
Absolutely.
team.
Right on.
team.
There's no I in team.
It's right. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Yes.
Cheers.
And everybody listening, please get out to the D'vine Gourmet,
Thank you.
make your orders, and just make this happen. All right, we're going to wind down now with our final two guests of the day. And I've written an introduction for them.
Okay.
You ready? Here we go. This took some time, so bear with me. Here we go. He was born in a city on the Mississippi River called Davenport. She was born by the river in a tent and has been flowing ever since. He was worn the uniform for the Angels, Rays, and D-backs, and I have a sneaking suspicion that she's worn the uniform for the Rustleroos and the original Enchiladas.
Yes. And
These days,
the Pizza Butcher.
you'll find both of them wearing the same uniform for Off 87th and the Pizza Butcher. This past year, Tami was named the Chandler Woman of the Year and just recently Woman-Owned Business of the Year. Mike wasn't, but did win her 21 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tami and Mike Butcher to the podcast.
Thanks. Hey, I must say, it's 28 years this year.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's quite the feat.
Screw the internet, man.
That's,
Well, the elephant in the room is happy birthday to Tami.
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
right.
That's our open.
Happy birthday.
birthday to me.
Yeah.
Hey, we didn't bring up
Boop,
that
boop, boop.
beautiful.
Let's see that.
Yeah, let's bring it up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We will.
Speaking
So-
of what Denise does, right
Yes.
there, right?
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tami. Happy birthday to you.
I love it.
That's beautiful.
All my favorite
it's so
things in
good.
there.
Yeah, that
Wine
is
especially.
That is a D'vine Gourmet gift bag right there, isn't it?
Best
Gift
place
Yes,
to
it
buy
is.
wine in the valley for sure, too.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
And all their gift
Very
bags.
pretty.
So how the heck did you guys meet, Mike and Tami? Where did this start? 28 years ago.
Red Robin, yum.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met at Red Robin.
Yep, 1994.
I was working there.
I was on strike.
He was on strike. I asked if he worked for a grocery store. He said no. And yeah, the rest is history.
Pretty much, yeah.
We met, went on a couple of dates, threw up in one car, and
First
then
date.
we were, next thing we know, we're together and getting
Yeah.
married and all kinds of things.
So you guys have been together for the whole ride throughout the major leagues and all the things you've done and everything.
Well, no,
She got the tail end of it, unfortunately. She got
Yeah.
the back end of my major league career and a lot of my minor league career. But then, as a major league coach, she was there for the whole ride, which was
Okay.
amazing as well.
Briefly, while we're here, I have to ask you what it meant to listen to Shea talk about you like that. I mean, it was incredible.
Where is he?
he's behind my dad.
I will say humbled. Yeah.
Humbled. Yeah. What an incredible thing to hear about yourself. I mean, to hear that you've made that kind of an impact on somebody's life. This is the stuff we wake up for every day, is to, like, hopefully, I mean, that's what he kept talking about. He wants to make that thumbprint on people, and you made that on him in a world that seemingly was filled with chaos for him, and nobody could make that move, but you did. What do you think it was about you?
You know, I think the part that he brought up about care, right? I care. I met Shea when he was 18. He was at MCC, and I was a player. I was in the big leagues, and what I wanted to do was I'd go there, and there was a guy named Zeke Zimmerman who was a coach that I could talk to.
Excellent name.
Me, Mike Fetters, and a couple other guys would go there, Chris Beasley, and work out at MCC. And I remember asking Zeke, I said, hey, is there a guy here that can catch us? He's like, well, I don't know if I got a guy here that can catch you, but I got a shortstop that can catch you. And I said, well, who is he? He goes, well, his name's Shea Hillenbrand. And I said, okay, well, let's can you catch us? He's like, absolutely. So that's how I met Shea, shortstop at MCC. And he started catching me, Fetters, and Beasley, and a couple other guys, and that's how I met him. We'd give him some Oakley sunglasses, and I had a Nike Oakley contract, a Nike contract, and give him whatever we could give him. We couldn't give him any money because that's the way it was back then. You couldn't give any junior college or any college player any money. So that's how I met him, and that's kind of, we didn't talk a whole lot. He would just catch the ball, throw it back to me. He was really quiet back then. And but just listen to his story was very humbling, because that's what you want to make an impact on every kid that you you have and a positive influence. And yeah.
So,
Pretty cool.
Steve, what I noticed is he gives life. He gave life to Shea in a big way. And what's really cool about both of these guys is Tami gave life. You gave life to somebody, literally. And I read something about you online that I did not know before, which is you are a living kidney donor.
Yes, I am.
When did this happen?
This happened during COVID, by the way, 2020. And my cousin, we call him our bruzzen because I have 3 younger sisters, and we have a cousin, Brad, that we're very close to.
Okay.
So we call him our bruzzen. And he was in stage 5 kidney failure. And so he needed a kidney like right away. And I would love to say that I was the only one who tried to give him a kidney, but my entire family stepped forward, and we all said we would be up for giving him a kidney. It just so happens I was the perfect match. And but yeah, it was quite the journey, and now he is living his best life. He just got back from Vietnam. He climbs Squaw Peak weekly. That kidney's getting around, let me just say.
Yeah. Mike, do you remember when she came home and she was like, hey, so I'm going to give this guy my kidney, and
Yeah. Yeah.
what were you thinking?
I'd signed the paperwork as well,
Yeah.
but and I was scared, and I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I could have gone through with it, and she did. She's amazing, very powerful, caring. It just there was zero hesitation for her to give her kidney to Brad.
Yeah,
like
that's
zero.
Honestly, Mike, that's what me and Matthew talked about too. The bravery. I don't know if I would. I don't know what I would say in that situation. So
You would do it.
You're
a nice
like to
guy.
say yeah. You'd like to say yes, but I haven't been there, and it's a tough decision. I mean, I'm sure it's life or death for you too. I mean, anytime you.
I'll say
go under
this:
the knife, yeah.
the doctors at Mayo, incredible of how they've handled it and how they've handled it not only through the process but even currently. The follow up has just been amazing. There's nothing better. The Mayo, hats off to Mayo. They've done an amazing job of following everything through.
And by the way, my one kidney is working just the same
I was going to ask you.
as my 2.
Super dumb
That's the
question, but
power.
how do you feel now?
Yeah, that's
Fine.
the power of, God gives you 2 kidneys for a reason, and that's probably one of them.
A spare one.
A spare one.
Huh.
Yeah.
What a cool thing to be able to say you've done for somebody.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Speaking of that, let me segue. Tami does a lot of things in this community.
Oh, I know.
She's
She's
known
one of
for
my
a lot of
part of my
things.
favorite organizations, East
Yes.
Valley Women's League.
So I want to know what drives that passion for doing things for the community. You've been, from chairing the different charity organizations to teachers
Cake.
and education to writing books. What I want to know, what drives it? What drives that passion? What's behind that wheel?
I think just, I grew up with a very passionate family that always worked very hard and taught us, how to get up every day and do the right thing. And my sisters and I, we're all driven like that. We really are. We have always loved helping people. We've always loved working and just getting up every day and doing something for somebody else. I mean, that's really what drives me. I really enjoy helping others, and I think it's just innately within me. Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a great quality to have, for
Thank
sure.
you.
And I'm sure it helps you in this current setup that you're in right now, right? Where you've got this new business and the Pizza Butcher, and you've got a few things that are brewing right now, and that all kind of led to this.
Yeah. This is the Pizza Butcher's definitely been a labor of love. We love having. You can imagine these 2 on the Pizza Butcher.
I can't even imagine.
On a daily.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, and the stories. I mean, that could be a whole show in itself. I mean,
It's an 8x20 clubhouse is what it is.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
Steve and I were talking that you may have potentially overpaid for a pizza oven. I read about this pizza oven that you
Florence,
have.
Italy?
Absolutely.
So you brought this thing in from Florence, Italy. What is it about this particular pizza oven that makes it so incredible that you would
The
do that?
best of the best.
Why?
Why?
What?
Why?
Yeah, what is it?
Because if you want to serve a premium product, you have to have the best thing to cook it out of.
So is it
Yeah.
the crust? Does it make the crust perfect?
makes-
What would you say?
I would just say that most other companies that are out there that have wood-fired pizza ovens, and there's a bunch of really, really good manufacturers, they've copied Munini or Valeriani.
Okay.
And it's the best pizza oven that there is out there. And I've had it in our backyard for over 20 years. So our first home, and then now this home. And the whole thing started out because we wanted to make pizzas in our backyard so I could be with my kids during the off season. because baseball's a grueling sport. So we were gone all the time during the summer. And then we started doing pizza parties in our backyard, saying, okay, kids, just bring all your friends over. And that's how it all started. All the friends would start coming over. We had parties in our backyard. Next thing I knew, we had ladders going over our fences. And every time they'd see smoke coming out of the stack, the neighbors would be coming over. And we'd be serving pizza.
Mike's
and,
cooking.
you know. And that's kind of how it started. And then it evolved from there. We got into COVID. And in 2020, at my in-laws' restaurant at Angela's at the Point of Squaw Peak, there was no PPP money, I guess it was called, or PPE money. And all the employees needed to get paid. So what we would do is we started making pizzas out there. And I think at one point we sold 350 pizzas in a day.
Wow.
And we had multiple donations, $5,000 donation, $1,000 donation, 550, 20, you name it. And people were, that money we used to pay all the employees.
How incredible is that, man?
It was pretty awesome, and the support of the community was even more amazing.
It's like what Denise said, same thing, right? Like
Yes.
she went through that COVID thing, and all her people kind of stepped up. Shea talked about this a little bit, and I don't want to spend a ton of time on baseball, but like, can you walk us through what it's like? Because we all dream of what it's like, but what is it like to get the call that you're going to play in front of 55,000 people on July 6th, 1992?
You pulled up the attendance, didn't you?
I sure did.
Yeah, you wait for that call your whole life, right? I mean, I dreamt, just like Shea was saying, you're in your backyard, you're 9 years old, you're playing wiffle ball, it's like bottom of the ninth, 2 out,
Yeah.
bases loaded. And
Yankees fan.
And you want, yeah, definitely a Yankees fan, and you want to hit the home run or a game-winning hit. When I got the call, we had just flown in. So in the minor leagues, we were flying like a smaller plane. Your flight usually is at 5 o'clock in the morning. You land in Colorado Springs. Got to wait for our bus. Our bus is delayed. So it took us almost 2 game time to get to Colorado Springs to the stadium there. Once I got there, my manager, Max Oliveras, comes up to me. He's like, hey, Boosh. He's from Puerto Rico. I loved his accent. He goes, guess what? I said, what? He goes, you're going to the big leagues.
Oh,
and I'm
man.
sitting there and I go, right on. But I could never take this guy seriously. So I'm looking around like a Willie Frazier, a couple other guys on the team. And he goes, psst, like, got you. He goes, you're not going anywhere. Oh. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So Willie Frazier, who had been in the big leagues prior to that, it's like, Mako, he goes, don't be playing around with this guy. He goes, what's going on? He goes, he's going. He goes, but you might be late for your flight. So I had to get on the bus, get out there, and I flew to Toronto, and 56,000 people. My major league debut. I remember the only thing that I tell Shea this story. The only thing I was worried about warming up, nothing. There was like in right field, the grass or the turf there's like these little rollers under the turf, and I'm running out to the mound going, all right, just don't trip, man. Just don't trip. Just don't trip. I didn't even know what the situation was. I knew the situation was, but I got out there. My manager gives me the baseball. It's bases loaded, 2 outs. I'm like, as a later on in my life as a major league pitching coach, I'd have never thrown a rookie into that situation, but I kind of like, throw the guy in the fire, which was kind of good. And I remember facing Derek Bell. I think I had John Olerud at first base, Dave Winfield at second, and Joe Carter at third. And I could hear every conversation that was going on while I was out there. It was like, that's how clear everything was for me. And Derek Bell was the first batter I faced, and I remember striking him out on a high fastball. About 95, and I walked off the mound going, I shouldn't say I walked off, I floated off the mound. It felt so awesome. It was like the best feeling in the world. Mark Langston's the first guy up there because those were his runners. He's like, dude, that was awesome. And I'm like, thank you, and I'm like just high-fiving everybody. It was like the most amazing moment of my life. Was my first major league inning or first major league out. It was pretty cool.
How does that stack up with your wedding?
Our wedding was awesome too.
Yeah.
What about your kids? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
We heard about that. That was the good pitch. Tell me about. I want to hear what was your wildest pitch.
Yeah, did you ever hit anybody in the
come
head?
on, did you throw one? Did you ever just rear back and throw one into the crowd?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
No, come on.
No, I would never do that. Sometimes you got to brush guys back off the plate. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
Especially in today's game, it should happen a lot more. But no, just
Never flew out your hand. I always wanted that a picture, because talk about the nerves, like nothing ever, just no pictures, but you're always in control, huh?
I would say I wasn't always in control, but I was mostly in control.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's every pitch, there's a purpose behind every pitch. So, there's a thought that goes into everything that
Who
you throw.
hit you the hardest?
Oh, several guys.
No, the hardest. Who
hit me the hardest?
Who had that exit ball that you said?
Tami.
Holy
Tami
moly.
did. Yeah,
Well,
that's the
that's
answer.
all the time.
Oh, some of the home runs I remember the most. Ken Griffey when we were playing at the old stadium in Seattle, 3-2 pitch, and before I threw it, I'm like, why am I throwing him a fastball right here? Because I shook to throw a curveball, and the catcher was shaking me off. And I go, all right, you want a fastball? Here you go. And he hit it, and that's one of the first ones I admired. That was going out to right center off the second facade.
That's what I was looking at. The
Yeah.
one that you just said, oh. But it wasn't your
happens.
fault. You're trying to.
Oh, no, it's my fault.
It was?
Oh, yeah. I threw the pitch. It's 100%.
It's always your fault? Okay, I
Yeah.
like that.
Never
All right.
blame anybody else.
Accountability.
Tami, get ready. I had a question coming your way, but the final question for you that I want to ask is about baseball. Is like, can you even watch the sport now and just be a fan, or are you always like? Is there an internal dialogue going about what should be happening?
She could probably answer that. There was a moment after the 2019 season or going into the 2020 season. I really didn't care about watching baseball that much. I was just really kind of had it. But I would watch it aimlessly. I watched it without any sound. I would just look at the game. Then I found myself, when I started loving the game a little bit more again, evaluating the game and trying to, not understand, but just really evaluating the game and enjoying the game. So do I watch it? I watch it every single day. I'm a fan of the game. I really don't know the players that well anymore. Just because there's so much change, there's so many injuries that are involved in today's game that there wasn't that many years ago, but I do enjoy the game. So,
Well, really, I want to thank both you guys for what you do for the community. We could sit here literally and have another, a whole segment on really what you do in each one of these little pieces. But
Can we talk about one of the big ones? Well, I would love to talk to Tami about the East Valley Women's League because I've had some brush-ins. I've had some run-ins with. Yeah, absolutely. I've had some run-ins with the crew, and they've all been real positive, and it's a really great group of people. Help us understand what the East Valley Women's League is about.
Yeah, the East Valley Women's League is a league of 55 women here in the Valley, all over really now, not just the East Valley, but we support about 10 charities across the Valley. Anywhere from the Ronald McDonald House to Chemo Companions. You might have heard a big one called Cinderella Affair.
I was hoping you would bring it up.
Yeah.
I had involvement with that.
Yeah, and I remember you were an MC for us,
Yeah,
weren't
I
you?
was at the place where the girls were
Yes.
picking out their dresses a couple of times. It was
Yes.
so fun.
Which is very cool now because it used to be called the Palace. I don't know if you went there to the castle.
Yes.
Okay, so unfortunately that lease came up this year, and we were like, we might have to get rid of the Cinderella Affair. And
No way.
I'll be dang if we figured out a way to keep it, because we had to move 6,000 dresses, by the way.
Yeah, explain what it is for people that don't know.
So Cinderella Affair is we collect prom dresses and just gorgeous dresses. And by the way, none of them are used. They're all brand new dresses, shoes, jewelry, all of the shebang that a girl would need to go to prom. And they can come to the castle and get it for completely free of charge. And we do that twice a year in March before prom. But the castle lease was up this year. So we had to move 6,000 dresses out. At the last hour, we didn't have any place to put them. And so finally, the big, what do they call it, Christy? Is it Dixon? Dixon. You've heard of Dixon, the flannels
Yes,
and
yeah,
all
of course.
them?
Yeah, they have a big warehouse
They
in
have
Phoenix,
that
right?
huge facility.
yeah, I really
in
like their
Tempe.
flannels and hats.
Yeah. They are
us a
wonderful
few.
people. They took all of our 6,000 dresses and are now housing them at the Dixon facility, and we're going to do the Cinderella Affair
Pretty
there.
amazing.
That is
so a
so
big
good
shout
for them
out to
too.
them. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it when just the right thing kind of comes together.
Yeah, it all just sank right at the
Do you
great
have a
time.
story of a girl that really touched you?
Oh, I have so many.
I know. Do you have
but-
one that stands out?
Well, I have a couple. I had a gal that came. She took the bus all the way from West Phoenix. She got off. She stayed there. Back in the day when it was really, really popular, you'd have to come like the day before and either pitch a tent or do something like that. She pitched a tent, brought a lunchbox with her and just some water. And she was out there for almost 24 hours waiting in line, so she would be the first. And I happened to work that first moment that we opened the door, and she was the first one there, this short little Hispanic gal, hardly spoke any English, said that she saw our poster board at her high school and wanted to be the first one there. Her parents were immigrants, and she was going to be the first one to go to college. So she wasn't just going to use the dress for her prom. She wanted to get a dress she could use for every interview and everything that she was going to do for the rest of her life, because she didn't even own a dress at that time. And so we dressed her, we took her to every room, she tried on every shoe, and I'll just remember her walking out of there just so
10 feet tall,
10
bulletproof,
feet
right?
tall,
Like just living it.
Yeah, very cool.
What a very touching story.
Yeah.
Very touching.
But the East Valley Women's League, we do a lot of great things for a lot of people, so I'm very proud to be part of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a couple of questions? Because I'm going to fire up. I got
You
plenty
got a couple
here.
more? Okay, let's go. So, I know you're right. I mean, I want to talk about you're right. I mean, we talk about your business, what you do in the community, writing books. I mean, you're a mom too. Talk about how do you manage that, mom and dad? But mom, I mean, the focal point of the family. You got beautiful kids. Talk about that. How do you manage all that? What would you tell people?
Well, I have two of them here tonight. My two daughters are here, and they're beautiful. They're right there, Tatum and Maddie. We have our other son, our son Brooks. But I would just say it's just a balance of the things that we do. As a mom, I think it's very important to teach our kids that we get up every day and go to work, and that, there's a lot more to life than like Shea was talking about, the material things. We think we've given them a great life, but we also like to show them that you work hard for everything that you do. And so I just think as a mom, it's important to give your kids that perspective of a mom can do a lot of things, not just be a mom.
Well, you both seem like you'd be really present parents.
Yes.
Well, let's be real. Like when I was coaching, it was hard because I'm gone, right? So the best job I could possibly have would have been either here with the Diamondbacks, which I was for 4 years, but our kids were a little bit older then, or be in California. So it was a little bit easier because the kids could come out to California during the summer. But the reality of it is that baseball's it's 162 games in 189 days.
Such a grind.
And so she was definitely the matriarch of the family and handling everything from getting the kids to school, meals, transportation, and then when the season was over, I'd come in and I'm like, okay, well, how do I fit in the household? So it was a little bit more difficult, but she's the one that kept everything together for sure.
That was kind of more my question. I mean, Tami, you're dynamic. I mean,
she is.
Oh, go on, Steve.
I'm serious. I mean, come on.
No, she said to go on.
Go on. Okay, are you cloned? I mean, is there another clone of you? I mean, there's a lot of you going around.
I appreciate
it. And it's an amazing thing, really.
Thank you.
And I'm privileged to know you, be a friend. And why I brought that up is because I do see on social media you guys as a family do, and I think this needs to happen more, do a lot of fun family things together. And that's, that can't be, looked at too lightly. People talk about the old days, people don't do that as much. And I know you guys do.
What's your favorite thing to do as a family?
Oh, we like to eat.
Yeah?
Yeah, look at me.
For us, it's like skiing. Like, that's the one thing that I can, everybody can agree on. It's like, let's go skiing. Okay, everybody's in. Do you guys have that activity outside of eating?
We have one big thing that we do every year. We go to Lake Powell. I've done it since I was 10 years old, and now we've brought all of our kids to do it. And that's our big family event that we do. But I think we like to hang out together. Like, our kids like to be with us truly,
Yes.
and I think that is a gift, because you can't take it for granted when your kids. We went to lunch today. They took me out to dinner last night. When your kids want to be around you, we are very fortunate
Just doing
that they
stuff
still
together.
like us.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
say
doing
that
stuff
all the
together. I
time.
love that.
That's
Yeah.
what I want. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just want my kids to want to be around
That's
me
right.
later in life, because there's plenty of people, myself included, who did not have that relationship with their parents, right? Didn't want to be around those folks. This podcast is all about bringing the community together, and I want to kind of wrap up with this thought of the community? Because, we had our little pre-production meeting before we did this, and you guys really got kind of excited when we started talking about community and how important it is that more than ever, we really band together and support each other in these times. So, Mike, I'll let you go first, but give me your thoughts on why that's so critically important and maybe like how we can do a better job of it too.
I just think, like when I look at downtown Chandler right now, the roads are torn up. It's killing small businesses, and Chandler's a community full of, it's a very small community that supports one another. We want to support Denise and her businesses, and it's just direct traffic that way, direct traffic our way. It's just really hard. There's family businesses. Just being a part of the community, we're right by Hamilton High School. We're going to feed the football team during the year. We have 5 home games where we could feed the football team. We've teamed up with our booster club. We've met the football coaches. It's a great program. Not only is it just football, but they have everything that they do there, whether it's and academics as well. So we just want to really interact with our community, have them involved, have them come here, support them, and likewise support us as well. But I don't know any other way to say it. It's just we want to be a fabric of the community is what we really want to be, and just have everybody involved. Come here, have a great time, and support. We'll support everybody around here, whether it's buying the little raffle tickets or whatever. We just want to be a part of what everybody's doing around here.
What do you have to say about that, birthday girl?
Well, in the restaurant business in general, because that's all really our family knows, but small businesses, it's just so important to support the mom and pops. I cannot impress that enough, that especially during these economic times right now, to support somebody who has their own small business versus going to the mall or doing that, it's so important because that's what feeds their kids, that's what feeds their family, that's what keeps them going. So, that community is going to be so important, I think, especially in the next couple of years with this election, the economy, the way this world is going. So just remember to really support those small businesses.
Support local.
Support
Absolutely.
local. For
Specifically
sure.
off 87th
Hi,
and the
Jimmy Chan.
Pizza Butcher.
That's right.
Specifically.
Specifically eat
Specific.
pizza.
Yes.
Off 87, how often do you have live music here?
We like to have my live music at least twice a week, sometimes 3. The summer's been rougher, so it's about 1 to 2 times a week. But
It's normal, though.
When we
Yeah.
kick it in gear, we'll do Taco Tuesday and trivia. Thursday night usually is a duo or a single, and then Friday night and Saturday night big bands. And Denise McCreery's band's going to be here in 2
Nice.
weeks, and we
What?
got to come watch them.
August 9th.
Wait
Yeah.
a second. Why didn't we ask her to sing?
I know, you guys, her voice,
All right,
Amazing.
next time.
amazing.
Next
Her
time.
and Steve could do a duet like.
I'd love to.
Really?
I'll
Do you
show up.
sing?
I try.
Really? Okay,
No.
this is going to be on the next episode.
Maybe that's
This would be
next episode,
good.
yeah.
Or maybe they'll come here and
You need to
perform
get
for you guys
Andrew
one
up here
night.
as
Yeah.
one of the
I'd
strongest
love to
men in
do
the
a duet
world,
with
for
you.
real.
No, yeah, Andrew, what's your, Denise's husband, Andrew, it has the title of, what is it? He's the 4th strongest, I just like to say man in the
So
world.
you
Yeah.
pick up those huge rocks
Yes,
and
he
walk
does.
them across. Yeah.
Really?
It's so
Yeah.
4th in the world. You know how strong that has to be?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's really
It's-
amazing.
It's impressive.
It's
Yes.
impressive.
All right, so he'll bring the rocks and she'll bring the roll. See what I
If
did
you
there?
guys
Oh,
noticed.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's really good.
That's it.
There used to be a wall right here, and we had
Yep.
Andrew come in and just move the
Yep,
whole wall.
yep.
Just knocked it down.
Well, I know who I'm going to ask me to help carry my stuff out to the car.
That's right.
Mike and Tammy, thank you guys so much
Yes.
for being
Yeah.
on this
Thank you.
podcast
So
with
much.
us.
Thank
yeah,
you.
and for
Yeah.
hosting us here at your
Yeah.
fantastic
Supporting us.
spot.
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for coming to Off
We support
87.
you.
Can't wait to get into the menu and start ordering food.
Yeah.
We're going to
We
stop
have
by.
we have an amazing chef, Marco. Lights out.
What's
Our
the
menu's
best thing
fab-
on the menu?
Oh man,
Your favorite.
my favorite thing is cheesesteak. I love the cheesesteak.
Okay.
Tammy?
I like our chicken sliders.
Oh, that sounds
They're
really
delicious.
good. Have you eaten here yet?
Not yet, but actually that steak and
The chicken parmesan is amazing too. I mean,
Chicken
literally,
I'm a chicken parm guy. I like it.
get the chicken parm.
Steak.
It's amazing.
Okay.
parm.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank
Yes,
you so
happy
much.
birthday.
31 has been good to me this year. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mike. While I was doing some research, I did notice a couple of years ago, she gave an interview, and the question was, "Who's the one person that motivates you?" And she said, "My husband, Mike." I don't know if you know that, but that's
did
very
not know
sweet.
that.
That's
He
very
does.
sweet. Awesome. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
Steve, what do you think, man? We did all right this time around, huh?
I would say better than all right. I mean,
Yeah.
our guests were amazing.
Amazing.
Inspiring, part of the community. All of them can't do enough. And again, I loved Shea's story.
So good.
Was not expecting that kind of that passion really resonated with me. But all of them, we had amazing
Denise
guests.
McCreery, thank you very
Denise,
much. Shea
Mike and
Hillenbrand.
Tami,
All
Fabric
good,
of
man.
the Community.
Well, next time we
Awesome.
get together, we're going to be at the Foothills Golf Club, and we're going to be welcoming some incredible guests. Jeremy Strauss, our local legend's going to be Gambo. Amy Richardson's going to stop by. Kim Tarnopowski's going to be there, which I'm excited about. So it should be a really great episode.
Another packed episode. Some great people doing some great things in the community.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you, Matthew. Great
Thank
job. You did some great job digging some stuff up. I got to tell you that, boy.
Well, and how
They
about
were
you?
Shocked, yeah.
They were like, great question, great question.
I loved hearing that since,
You're getting started.
Getting started.
Yeah,
I love that.
it, man. Thank you guys so much
Thank
at
you.
Alpha 87 for
Thank
being
you.
a part of this today. Everybody enjoy your night, and thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.